It's podcast time. I'm Reid Stefan, Realest Puppet in the game.
And I'm Karra. And welcome to our very first podcast at Laser Jungle Studios.
The Realest Podcast in the game.
So Reid and I decided to start doing a podcast.
The Realest Podcast.
The Realest Podcast. Because we figured, one, we have an interesting story. We have
some really interesting friends to bring on in the future.
Very interesting friends to bring on. And we figured we wanted to share that with all of you guys.
Yeah, absolutely. I think here on this channel, it's been mostly educational, and I wanted to post something a little bit more entertaining. So a podcast was a perfect, and personal also.
Yeah.
A podcast is a perfect way to do that. And I'm not always trying to, talk about what's going on inside of Ableton or Pro Tools. Sometimes I'm trying to talk about what it takes to be in the music industry outside of your software. So
because
that's really what this is going to be a place for. That's more than half of it, I think.
Yeah, I was going to say, a small portion of your music career is actually producing. You know? It takes a lot of piecing the puzzle together. It has a lot to do with your personality, how you go about business. So those are all the things that we're going to be talking about, and then some.
Yep. So we're really branching out from inside the DAW to outside the DAW here with this podcast.
Hell yeah. Oh, that's a great
We'll also be talking about some great production tips too. So
of course,
don't worry, you're going to be catching some sauce as well. But I think we want you guys to get a chance to get to know us a little bit.
Yeah. So why don't we start there? Reid, why don't you tell the viewers 5 facts about you? Fun facts.
Ooh, 5 fun facts.
That no one knows about.
That nobody knows about me. Well, I grew up in New Jersey.
Okay, 1. So East Coaster.
Yeah, East Coaster.
I'm also from New Jersey, so.
Self-taught music producer.
Self-taught.
Never went to school for that or had anyone teach me.
What about something you do on your free time?
I like going to jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
Going surfing sometimes. So I would just put both of those. I would put both those into one.
Realest surfer in the game. I've seen Reid surf, and he's pretty good. He's stood up a few times.
Pretty good if you're trying to get a video of someone wiping out. But
exactly.
I'll lob those 2 activities together into one. So that's technically 3 answers.
Okay, there you go. 2 more.
4th one, even though my name is Reid, I don't read much.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
He has a hard time reading. I've witnessed that.
It depends what I'm reading about.
That's true if you're interested in it.
Yeah, I don't have a hard time reading stuff about production. I don't know, but when I have a hard time reading stories and stuff like that, I just...
Yeah, you get lost in it.
I can't remember what I just read,
Okay, one more fun fact.
Yeah, give me a suggestion. You know me better than I do.
Well, you were vegan for a few years.
Oh, yep. I ate completely vegan from 2016 to 2019.
So that's a fun fact.
Oh, yeah, I guess that is a fun fact if you like food.
Yeah, so food stuff. Okay, so 5 fun facts about me. Let's see. I'm a dancer. I grew up dancing all throughout my childhood and middle school and high school. I used to go to New York and dance at the Broadway Dance Center. And so that's one fun fact. Another one is that I am a multi-instrumentalist. I played the clarinet, piano, I sang, I played the trombone, and I also conducted my marching band. So band nerd right here.
I played the triangle in marching band.
You did play the triangle. I remember you telling me that. Okay, so a 3rd fun fact is that I used to be scared of cats, and now I have 2 beautiful, loving, awesome cats.
Now you're scared of not seeing cats.
Now I'm scared of not having cats. That's a good point. Let me see. Number 4, another fun fact about me is that I'm Italian and Irish. So that's my nationality. I'm also from New Jersey, which a lot of those people out there are Italians and Irish. So makes sense. Let's see. I have a sister and a brother. And my sister's a math teacher, and my brother is a biomedical engineer, so he makes prosthetics. So I am the only musical child in the family, and my mom is actually a voice teacher. So I got her genes in regards to my career. So those are 5 fun facts about us.
Things you didn't know.
Things you didn't know. So yeah, so we talked about how we're both from New Jersey. What was it like for you growing up in New Jersey, Reid?
I was out in the woods. It was a very isolated come up, especially trying to make music. Mm-hmm. Wasn't too many people to collaborate with.
Right.
It was really just me at home on the internet trying to find whatever information I could.
Yeah.
To make whatever music that I could.
Yeah. And how were you in school? Did you like school?
I couldn't wait to get out of school. I did the bare minimum that I needed to do to get out of school, and then got out of school as quickly as I could.
Right. Because you always told me that you had a hard time following directions, which I see little hints of that in our everyday lives.
Yep. And probably in our podcast, too.
Probably in our podcast, too. I'm trying my best to lead this podcast to go as smoothly as possible. So
That's why we have a co-host here. If it was just me by myself, it would be just me talking to no end.
Well, I'm not just your co-host. I'm your co-partner in life in general. So I keep you on track.
Yeah.
So New Jersey, you grew up in the woods. You had a hard time in school, or difficult.
I didn't have a hard time in school. I had a hard time accepting the fact that I had to be in school.
Had to be in school. Okay, that's a good.
So therefore,
good
I didn't try.
True. And did you go to college?
Yeah, but that was pretty much the same story. Just did bare minimum to get by, and I knew I had better things to do.
Reid actually didn't get into his music program in college.
Yeah, how funny is that? There was a recording arts program at my university, and to get into it, you had to audition with a musical instrument.
Yeah.
So I just didn't even bother, because I would have had to have learned an instrument for the first time at that point.
So yeah, you'd never played any instruments, which is really interesting and probably really hopeful for a lot of people out there who don't play instruments and can produce.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, I learned my first productions were just me sampling stuff.
Right.
So you don't need to play anything. You're sampling stuff that other people played.
Right. So I had a little bit of a different background in New Jersey. I grew up on the shore. So I grew up by the beach. I'm 100% a beach bum. And I just went from coast to coast. So in high school, I had a hard time in school. I had to really try to get good grades. How you doing? Okay over there?
Yeah, thank you.
Right. There you go.
I was trying to fix my mic stand.
No worries. So yeah, I had a hard time in school. I really had to try to make good grades. In high school, that's when I started experimenting with bands. So I would go out, play with some friends and write music. And I actually started writing music when I was like 11 or 12. And I started just by copying and covering songs. So that was like my way of kind of figuring out how to play the piano and sing at the same time. And then I just started writing silly songs myself. And eventually I got a Mac computer and got GarageBand, and I would record myself. That's where it all started for me.
Everyone had a GarageBand phase.
Yeah, actually, my band teacher in 8th grade, he was the one who got the school to get us MacBooks, and he was the one who kind of taught us how to use GarageBand a little bit, which I'm super grateful for, because I may have never known if I liked recording or not if it weren't for him. So
shout out to him.
It was really cool that I had a teacher that actually saw the value in computers. So and then I went to college, Belmont University in Nashville, which, you know, I did not have the best experience there.
Who went to school and had the best experience?
I know.
Very few.
Anyway,
sorry to interrupt.
No, it's okay. I mean, I have a similar experience as you. I mean, I didn't get into a lot of the colleges that I applied for. I auditioned for a lot, and I didn't have the SAT scores to get in. So, but I always knew I wanted to write music and be an artist, and I just went for it, because I don't have plan Bs in my life. I only have a plan A. That's the only way to go, in my opinion.
Yeah, that was my whole problem with college. I was sitting there thinking, shouldn't I be going for it?
Right.
And not going for a lesson on rocks and minerals?
100%, yeah. And even the music classes that I had, they were pretty outdated, and the thing, I feel like the most valuable lessons you learn are just in life and experience. You know, I did have internships. I actually interned for the CEO of Warner Music in Nashville. So I was his personal intern, which I was super blessed to have that because I got to see how labels were run. And I realized I didn't want to be sitting in an office. I would rather be out here making a podcast on a deck in paradise.
This is an office.
This is our office, exactly. Okay, let's see. I'm curious what your first concert was, Reid. Do you remember?
Probably me going to Warped Tour when I was in middle school.
Warped Tour, yeah.
Yep.
Oh yeah, I'm sure we have some listeners that were Warped Tour kids.
Went to go see their favorite bands at Warped Tour.
Yeah, who was your favorite band?
Taking Back Sunday.
Yeah, Taking Back Sunday was good. I really loved... I had a few favorite artists, but my top 3 were Jack's Mannequin. Andrew McMahon is just incredible songwriter. I mean, and his voice is amazing. Lights, a Canadian artist, Lights. She's my number 1 of all time, probably. I really, really, really loved My Chemical Romance, Paramore.
Yeah, they would have been a close second.
Yeah. Just listening, just like remembering those days of just, that's all we really had to do was just listen to music instead of being able to produce and create it. So it was a much different experience listening to it back then than it is now.
Yeah, and I think it was when electronic sounds started appearing in that music was really what made me get interested in electronic music, because those were my favorite parts of those songs. Mm-hmm. When the band would like cut away from the band production and go to some electronic thing for a couple bars or like a bridge or whatever. Yeah. Those were my favorite parts. So that kind of was the gateway into electronic music together. All together. Yeah, for me.
And the way that Lights fused indie pop and electronic music, electric sounds together, that opened my eyes up to an entirely new world, just like you said. And then Ellie Goulding came along, and I was like, holy cow, like this girl is amazing. The sounds and like what she did with Skrillex in those early days. I mean, it was really life-changing for me, and it really shaped the way I write music now.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah. What did you want to do when you were a kid? Did you always knew you wanted to make music?
You know, I think I did. I was pretty stubborn.
You're a stubborn little kid. You are a stubborn person. You know what you want. I mean, that's pretty inspiring, to be honest. I mean, the one thing about Reid is that if he wants to do something, he just does it. Like there's no questioning, there's no putting it off, there's no waiting around for something to happen.
A consideration of other people's like involvement or opinions or any of that.
Yeah. And I would have to say that's probably the number one thing that I've learned from you is just going for it and taking your life and matters into your own hands and not relying on other people.
Yeah.
That if anything, if you're going to take anything away from this podcast, it's to never rely on other people, because you are the person that cares the most about your own career, life, music, art, whatever it may be. So yeah, we've both had to learn a lot of skills just to make our music careers happen. A lot of non-musical skills. Yeah, well, it's so true. I mean, give an example of that. Like what's something that you had to... Video editing, yeah, I know. Video editing, photo editing. Using a camera is super important when you're a musician, producer. Talking to people on camera. Yeah, it all goes into what we do every single day. What's like a favorite memory of yours from music back in the day? Going crowd surfing at one of my first concerts was fun. Like I was the kid crowd surfing at Warped Tour. You crowd surfed? Back in 2012. Oh, absolutely. I barely weighed anything. Yeah, right. I have a crazy story. There was one time I was crowd surfing. Someone ripped my shoe off and chucked it as far as they could across the audience. This is the best part. I found it. I walked around for 45 minutes with one shoe on and found it at Warped Tour. Wait. My Van skateboarding shoe. Wait, that's hilarious. I had no idea. See, I'm learning something about you. And I've been dating you for God knows how long. 3 years? Yep. Wait, let's talk about how we met. That's a good story. People would probably appreciate this. Okay, so I'll explain my side of the story first. So I moved out to LA about like 5 years ago. And you did too, right? You only moved out a couple months before.
Yeah, probably 5.5 years ago.
Yeah. So I was finishing my last semester of school in LA, and I was interning at AIM Only at the time, which is now Paradigm. It was a DJ agency. Yeah. Sorry, I couldn't think of the word. And what's really awesome about that, by the way, is that all of the artists that I was interning for, like Seven Lions, Cruella, I am now working with those artists, and I have music out with them
in the studio.
It's pretty freaking cool. Full circle moments, man. I mean, wherever you are interning right now, if you feel stuck, if you feel like you're just getting started, just wait a few years.
You'll probably be working with those people.
You'll be working with those people.
Yeah, I remember my first internship was at a radio station in New York City called Z100.
Yeah, Z100 is like the biggest station.
Shout out to the morning show host, Elvis Duran, was the first and only guy on earth to ever employ me.
Yeah.
And
he saw the power in you, man.
And I had a very similar experience where all those people who were on the radio around the time that I was an intern there are now people that I'm working with.
Yeah, that's really cool. Which, by the way, I used to listen to Elvis Duran every single morning before I went to school. And it's really cool that you were a part of that. And I didn't even know. Yeah,
they still use a lot of the music beds that I produced and things like that. I love that was a good job. That was probably the only job I could probably actually have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, for sure. And they're super supportive of you. And I remember when you were on tour with Steve Aoki, you went back to talk to them on air and stuff. Yeah. Really cool stuff. When I was in Nashville, I made an EP. I started making music, doing sessions, just trying to get my feet wet in the industry, figuring stuff out. My EP actually got featured on a blog called Kings of A&R. Run by Dean Kramer. And I found out that Dean actually lived in a town near my town in New Jersey. And so I met up with him before I moved out to LA. And in that conversation, I just asked advice and if he knew anybody out in LA. And the only person that he said that he knew was Reid Stefan.
And let me add, the only way he knows me is because we went surfing together a bunch of times. Like we would both show up in our wetsuits when the waves were good. So
he's talking about this guy, Reid. He shows me his Facebook. At the time, Facebook was a thing.
Yeah,
and
I haven't checked my Facebook in decades.
His YouTube channel, which at the time you had really, really popular remixes on.
Yeah, I was posting DJ Ridiculous remixes.
Yeah, so he had like millions of views on his YouTube channel, and I just thought he was the coolest thing ever. And I really I just really wanted to get into EDM and top lining and working with DJs. So I felt like this was one of the most perfect situations that I can step into going into LA. So Dean is like, I'll hook you up with him. Not hook up with him, but I will email him.
I will send an email and connect you guys. That's what she meant to say.
That's what I meant to say. I'll send an email so that I can connect you guys so you can start making some music when you get out there. So Dean tries to hit him up and no answer from Reid.
He sent it to the old DJ Ridiculous email.
He probably sent it to the old emails. Yeah.
That's my theory.
That's the theory that we have.
I didn't see that email.
We'll have to ask Dean what happened. But I couldn't get in touch with Reid, and I was 3 months into living out in LA, and I was single and lonely and bored. 3 things I hate being. And I downloaded Tinder. And guess who pops up on my first 5 swipes? I'm not even kidding you. Reid Stefan.
The realest puppet in the game. And my picture was me running out of a burning building holding a bunch of puppies. As if I had just saved them.
By the way, that picture was featured on a best of the best BuzzFeed news article.
That picture did circulate around the internet.
It did. It was best Tinder profile pictures on the internet. Yeah. So we matched on Tinder. And I hit him up right away, and I told him that I knew Dean and that he was trying to link us up to work. And he obviously responded and thought that was cool. I don't know. Were you interested in working on music, or were you just interested in, hanging out?
No comment.
Went to the studio. And the rest is history. He played me some music that night, and I have to be honest, I am such a sucker for producers and nerdy people. I just love really smart, intelligent people. Men, women, doesn't matter. I just love intelligent people that I can learn something from. And just by sitting there watching you produce and play me your music, I instantly, it just clicked for me, and things started to shift in my life. So yeah, what did you think of me when you first met me?
Well, I wasn't expecting us to get along so well. I can say that for sure.
Yeah, you've been through a few Tinder people. I'll say that. But I stuck around.
Yeah, I thought we were going to talk about music stuff, and partially I ended up being correct.
Yeah, no, we did. And honestly, I just really liked hanging out with you. I thought you were really cool. I enjoyed our conversations, and then from there we just we slowly started working together. At the time, you were DJing.
Yeah, I was barely or ever home.
I was doing the opposite. When I met my manager and we started working together, he put me in sessions every single day. So I was doing the session game, just like going day after day, working on music, just building my community and building my catalog, which I've met so many amazing people in this town. It's hard to remember them all because I've worked with so many. I've worked with hundreds of people and learned something from every single one of them. So, but I actually don't do sessions like that anymore. We kind of have our little groove and crew going.
You'll find that's what happens if you come to California to make music. When you first get here, you'll work with so many different people. And then a couple years in, you'll have the same people that you work with over and over again because you know it works.
Fix your mic there for you.
Oh, thank you. You're the best.
It took a few years. Reid was doing a lot of production work for other people, other artists, and for himself.
It took a while for us to work together. And then 2018 was when we started working together regularly.
Yeah. Well, we moved in together. What was that like when you first moved in with me? Were you kind of expecting for us to go down this path, or?
Well, first I had to learn vocal production.
Yeah, which was the most important thing.
Second, I had to learn how to work with other people because everything that we do usually also involves other people. I had come from my early days of making music by myself.
Yeah.
And it wasn't really till 2017 that I started making music with other people.
I feel like that's where we both...
There, I can fix it myself. I got it.
There you go.
I'm an independent puppet.
You're an independent puppet, I know. So what I think was our strength was coming from different backgrounds, from me working with a bunch of people, songwriting, and knowing how to deal with different personalities, navigating sessions and people and thoughts and trains of thoughts and ideas in sessions. Those were some things that I got really good at. And then I feel like you have such a independence about you, which is really dope because you are strictly based off of your intuition and what you like and your taste.
Yeah.
If you have someone like me who is familiar with what's out there and who's out there, and someone like you who kind of just does their own thing, it's a good combo.
Yeah, I agree. I think also we come from two different perspectives from like the music that we like too. And
obviously skills. I mean, I didn't start learning how to vocal produce until I moved in with you.
You already really use the computer at all.
No.
Before I had to teach you how to vocal produce, I had to teach you how to use the Mac operating system, and then we went to vocal production.
That's so embarrassing, but it's...
And that was 2 years ago.
That goes to show that it's never too late to start something. And it's never too late to learn something. Pick up a new skill. Start doing your own vocals, start producing, start watching YouTube tutorials, which, by the way, Reid obviously has an incredible channel for that.
I know a great channel of tutorials.
Reid knows a great channel of
tutorials. I know all about a great one. I'll put the link in the description, you guys, so you can check it out.
And then just just following people that inspire you and actually put that information out there. I think there's so much power in sharing your story and how you did something and how you got somewhere, because first of all, no one can be you. No one can do what you do exactly, right?
No.
So you can still share your secrets because it doesn't really matter at the end of the day.
Yeah, nobody is going to have the same accumulation of experience as you.
When Reid started teaching me how to vocal produce, that really inspired me to kind of push even further and get even better and do things that scared me, like become an artist. I was so scared to be an artist and have my own project because I was like, do all these songwriting and I'm a behind the scenes girl and I'm a connector. I'm connecting all these artists and developing all of these artists. But for some reason, I was too scared to do it for myself, which is absurd. So now we're on that path of me becoming an artist, and I'm really excited about that because you guys are gonna see the development of how I became this person I am today, and we're gonna walk you through each step of the way and my process.
That's what the podcast is really gonna shine light on.
Yeah, exactly. So I think the conversation. You okay there, Reid?
Yeah.
You're like smelling the mic.
It smells good. I love the new microphone smell.
Smells good? Okay, cool.
It's like the new car smell, but better.
That is true. Smells good. Do you have anything to add to that, Reid?
No, I think you really said it all.
Okay, so that's it for our first podcast. What we want from you guys is to tell us what you want us to talk about, what guests you want on, and we can continue on this journey at Laser Jungle Studios.
Yeah, and we'll see you guys next week at the Realest Podcast in the game.
Peace out.
Peace out.